Hi, my name is Jillian. Welcome to my channel, and I want to talk about empathy because it's a very near and dear feeling, I guess, to my heart and to my soul and to me. I would say, I guess this sounds a little narcissistic, but I really don't mean it that way. I would say I am a very empathetic person. And one thing that I wanted to talk about today, or the main thing I wanted to talk about today, is that you can be upset with someone and also feel empathy for them. That's something that I really had to realize because when I was younger, I went through not a lot, but I went through some stuff that made me really appreciate empathy. And I realized how important and how big of a deal empathy was, and it really made me understand how to be kind and how to empathize with people. And I would like to say, first of all, you won't always be able to relate to someone. You won't always be able to understand what someone's gone through. But you can still have empathy for someone. I would just like to say that because I used to think that the best way to show someone that you cared and that you had empathy for them was to say that you related to them or you understood where they were coming from in some sort of way. But I realized that actually some people don't like that, and I totally understand why. So I wanted to say that. But back to what I was saying before, I have dealt with a lot of people in my life that I just did not like, obviously. And I think I sort of felt bad a lot of the time. I felt like a bully because I didn't feel this incredible sense of empathy for them. I was just annoyed with them. I would be upset with them with what they did. If someone was acting immature, for example, I would be upset and I would be annoyed with them. Sometimes even a little bit angry. But I realized that I can be upset with someone and also have empathy for them. If people are struggling and being immature as a result, or being rude or unkind as a result of their struggle, I'm allowed to be upset with that still. I always had this feeling that you have to be 100% empathetic. You have to give everyone tons of grace. You have to be the kindest person in the world in order to be a good person, or in order to be someone with empathy. Because that's what I always wanted in my life. I didn't really realize that you don't have to be that way, and that people were allowed to be upset with me when I was younger. And I still deserved empathy. I did some not great things to myself that resulted in other people being hurt too. I don't think that I ever really purposely hurt anyone myself, but I would inadvertently hurt other people with my own actions. And I just always wanted 100% grace, 100% empathy all the time from people, when that's not always fair and that's not always realistic. And honestly, that's not always going to happen at all. People were allowed to be upset with me when I did things wrong, or when I did things unkindly or immaturely, and I was deserving of empathy, but people didn't really need to give it to me, and people were still allowed to be upset with me. And I just feel like that's very interesting and that's very wise, because honestly I never had really thought about that until recently. I've matured so much in the last year or two, and I've realized a lot of things, but mainly I've realized that because people always told me, I was very much known for my empathy. I feel like that was a big part of my identity, and learning that I don't really need to give 100% of my empathy all the time was a big revelation for me. So I wanted to pass that on to you guys because, I don't know, I feel like as I've matured and realized that, there's a part of me that feels a little bit like a bully, because I feel like I'm not as empathetic as I used to be, but I think that that's a good thing. When I really think about it, I think, there are so many situations where I've given people so much empathy to a point where they've just taken advantage of that, and I've just been disappointed time and time again. And I think having a little less empathy for people that don't really deserve it, and having a little more critical thinking skills and a balance of negative and positive emotions is such a good thing, because you're allowed to feel angry or disappointed or sad, and you're allowed to be upset with someone, and that's all good. I'm allowed to be upset with someone if they do something wrong or upsetting or annoying. And I can also be empathetic about where they're coming from, but I can still be annoyed. I know I keep just repeating myself, but I really just want to get the point across, because this is like crazy for me. Like, I only really started thinking about this like a year ago, and it's like such a crazy thought for me. Like, I never, like, you don't understand. I've always been so attached to the idea and essence of empathy because it was such an important missing part of my life, I feel like. And like, I am still a very empathetic person in my opinion, but it's crazy to me that you're allowed to just also be upset with someone. Like, that sort of duality was never like going through my head. I always thought you have to be 100% of this all the time, and I feel like there are definitely some people out there that feel the same way as me. I just want to share. So, thank you for listening. This is a very short video, I'm sorry, but you know.